I don't know what happened there. Hey everyone, welcome to State of the Realm. A bit of an awkward start, but it's going to be a bit of an awkward show anyway, because this week we get to talk about Eureka. It's happening. Can I get some it's happenings? It's happenings. We'll actually do the jazz hands when we switch over to the cameras. But for a show about Eureka, we only need 2 hosts, because one of them is one I plan to give a very hard time today. I'm one of them, Michael, Mr. Happy Poverum. Of course, joining me is Slyh, aka Slythefox, aka Slyh, aka Greyfox, aka Eureka's happening 4.25. How you doing, Slyh?
Yay.
What is that? What is that about? Why can't you be excited?
What, I'm supposed to be excited about Final Fantasy XI? Really? Really?
Yeah,
I didn't play, but yay, I finally get to play 11.
Yeah, you get to play it now. That's what I was gonna say. Everyone's gonna be like, "Oh my God, Scorpion Harness!" You're gonna be like, "So wait, jazz hands real quick. It's happening." There you go. Had to happen. Okie dokie. Anyway, with that out of the way, that's not the only thing we get to talk about today, Slyh. Got a lot of peaches questions.
Yeah, we get to talk about a lot of peaches.
Yeah. So overall, we're discussing Live Letter 42, which happened this last Saturday at the very unfortunate hour of 1:30 in the morning. And was mostly Q&A. It had about 25-30 minutes of Eureka stuff. And they also had Soken on, which is stuff we probably won't touch on much in the show. There isn't really, we can never really translate that much to a topic on the show. So, Slyh, what do you say we go through the questions before the Eureka stuff? Because the Eureka stuff happens
get the peaches out the way?
Yeah, get the peaches out the way. Slyh, was there any question that, you absolutely
resonated?
Sure?
Nah.
No?
I mean, it's peaches. It's peaches.
Really?
Peaches.
I don't think they were all peaches. The job adjustment stuff wasn't peaches.
No, yeah. I mean, that, we kind of figured there would be job adjustment questions, but peaches.
I mean, the answers were kind of peaches. It's weird. Normally the question is peaches.
But it's kind of the thing you answer, you get a stupid answer for a stupid question. So.
These weren't stupid questions. The job adjustment
I mean, these weren't stupid questions, but it's kind of like that. You get a stupid answer with a stupid question. You get a peaches answer with a peaches question. Peaches.
Slyh, come on. All right. So they asked if they were going to buff Dark Knight, and they said we got to talk about it. All right, so all they said is what the person was suggesting wasn't a really good way of buffing them, but people are really asking for adjustments, so they're looking into them. That's something.
You know, all this time, even before we got into Stormblood, we were always talking about balance for not just tanks, but just balance in general. We're never getting that balance. I'm afraid we're not getting that balance.
I mean, the thing is, when you have jobs like tanks and healers, and it's 2 out of the 3, there's always going to be one that's less favorable. It doesn't even have to be unbalanced. It just has to be less favorable than the other 2. When it comes to the tanks, that role is leaps and bounds about thinking that way above than everyone else. But the healers somehow are still all there. It's just you see a lot more White Mage. No one complains about the state of Astro. It's just White Mage Scholar seems to be much more popular nowadays.
Yeah.
So it is. I'd say it's different. I think it's a good thing to say that Dark Knights would get adjustments at the very least to maybe be smoother as a playstyle. You know.
What happened to the whole, you can take any job into raid and be okay?
He says that in this live.
But it's not true. He's lying.
But no, it's true. You can absolutely take any job in and be okay. It's just that people are assholes. When you see the samurai who's like, no, I won't allow Dark Knights in my party, you're like, you've got it messed up, buddy.
Really? Really? Pot calling the kettle black? Really? Really? Yeah. You got your priorities messed up a little bit. Yeah.
I've seen it, too. I've seen the samurais like, no Dark Knights. And I'm just like, that's not fair.
Really? You're the one shunning people out? Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
Sure.
Oh, man. One of the big peaches answers for me was about tank accessories. Although I think the question was kind of poorly presented. They asked why, like, direct hit. Why they allowed direct hit to be such a popular meld for tanks. I don't know if you know, Sly. It's not as popular anymore.
It's not.
Warriors don't care at all anymore.
No. Was it not Paladins?
Paladins still, a lot of them go with direct hit melds.
Yeah.
Some of them just don't want to have more than one set because they don't want to pentameld 2 different sets. So they just run the same warrior sets, which isn't as good, but... And then Dark Knights can do either. They could do the warrior melds for, like, crit, or they could do the direct hit melds. And it's just like, I don't think that's the way the question should have been. I think it should have just been, why are tank accessories better than raid accessories? And you know what his answer was?
Crafted. No. Crafted.
Crafted. My bad. Crafted accessories are better than raid accessories. I don't know why I said that. I don't like his answer either.
The answer?
Players want to beat the raids quickly, so they want more DPS, right?
Of course.
Once they obtain Savage accessories, you don't think they'll need that much DPS. So what he's saying is with the Savage stuff, you don't need to think about having pentamelded accessories. You're going to get more damage from having the Savage accessories than you had before anyway.
But
he's not saying that the crafted pieces aren't better, and we all know mathematically that they are.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's the problem, is that crafted accessories are consistently better than the raid accessories that keep coming out.
Yep.
And that's it. I don't know.
When do you think we're actually gonna address this? Because it's been a problem for several patches.
Honestly, it was really nice when Vitality was an offensive stat for like 6 months. The problem is, the reason it's not anymore is because they want weakness to reduce main stats, but not reduce health. So that's why. I still think you don't need to make it reduce main stats, just make it reduce flat damage and healing, and then all of a sudden that's not a problem, but that's their reason. That's their reason.
So you think this never gets fixed?
At this rate, no. I don't know how long it's been a discussion topic, and it's still the way it is. That's it. I don't know.
I'm optimistic for maybe the next expansion that it gets fixed. Maybe.
I'm not. You keep your optimism, sir. You could shove that in Eureka. How about that?
We're really going
That's
there
one,
already.
by the way.
Yeah. I'm keeping count. Thank you.
That was only one, though. I kept count.
Okay. All right, good.
Then they asked about Red Mage and Samurai buffs. Red Mage, no.
Why? Well, yeah. Red Mage, why?
Red Mage
Samurai, understandable. Why? Yeah, why?
I love the reason for him actually being okay with the idea of buffing Samurai. Because they buffed Monk. He just said, in the unofficial translation, it implies that he says that Monk is stronger than Samurai now.
No.
It is.
No. Stop. Shut.
Stronger than you Dragoons, too. You guys just got more raid buffs.
We'll take that.
I know you will. It's worked for fucking 4 years now. Of course you will.
Why change anything? Don't fix what's not broken. Shit.
Yeah. It's sad that Monk is stronger. I'm glad that we're fulfilling what we were supposed to be in 3.x now that we're not that anymore. But, the no utility job. But they said Samurai, they want to bring its DPS up to match its job concept. That's a lot of DPS then. That's nice. I like it. I'm cool with the idea.
But still have no utility. Or are we sticking with the whole? Or are we sticking with the whole? My damage is my utility.
Listen, I'm still of the opinion that when the expansion launched, Samurai's DPS numbers were well enough above the other jobs that it was acceptable to bring them in favor of no utility. I am not agreeing with that right now with what they do. I mean, you can bring them if they're good. Again, any job can raid.
Lies. I would be okay. I'd be okay with the DPS as it stands, slightly increased. Just give them fucking utility, please. Make them do something.
It's funny that you bring that up because somebody asked about Black Mage next, which is basically the cast of Samurai. And
basically,
and he basically says, if you want their DPS to be, if you want utility, I gotta lower their DPS.
But really, is that a bad thing? When you really look at it, is that
look at you guys. Exactly. Look at Dragoons and Ninjas. They dominate. They are the two lower melee DPS, but they dominate because of raid utility. I don't know. I don't know what to tell you.
I don't either.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, Black Mage is doing better now. I don't know if you've played with any. They're doing pretty well. They're I'd say more successfully now in a realm of don't need any more changes, or if you do change them, make it easy. I guess better to play as opposed to buffing them. So now Samurai needs its turn. Most people I know will still take a Red Mage or a Summoner for the utility, but you got a good Black Mage. They're doing good.
Yeah. We just choose Red Mage. Just saying.
Yeah, we progged with Red Mage. Our Red Mage plays Summoner now. He just wanted to do first week prog as Red Mage.
Our Red Mage tried Summoner, got sick of it in like 2 pulls of 5, and then just went back to Red Mage.
Yeah.
It's like, I can't do this. I can't fucking do this. I need to get
I don't think it's a good place for them to try and learn Summoner before. I don't think that's a best idea.
5 would be the best place. If you're really trying to learn, 5 would logically be the best place.
I'd say a training dummy to start, but yeah, I mean, after that.
Yeah.
All right. And then they moved away from job-related questions, and this is where we get stuff like questions about the glamour dresser.
Okay.
Like they are apparently.
Are you gonna go over these?
There's some important stuff there. One of the things they're working on right now is the ability to remove stuff from the glamour dresser. Sly, come on. That's if they allow you to remove it, it is basically inventory. I'll take 200 more inventory. You could put all your fishing rods in there, Sly.
Oh my god.
Then it's then between that and the saddlebag, it really is those are your tackle boxes.
No, okay. We've legitimized that your saddlebag is not a freaking tackle box. You cannot access your bait while in the saddlebag. So no, you're wrong.
I mean, you can go into the saddlebag and then put it in your inventory.
It doesn't. It's not a tackle box.
But it carries all the tackle. I mean, Sly, a real tackle box, you don't just shove the box onto the fishing rod.
It's not a tackle box. Move on. All
right. They are also working on a potential way to use stuff in your glamour dresser as glamour without making it a plate. Another thing that they're working on. So that's again, those are improvements. Sly, this matters to people.
Okay.
Sly, you could put your belt for Erzivia in there one day. And you don't need to have it on you anymore. Then you'll just always be wearing it anyway. Alright. Increasing inventory on it. If it happens at some point, it'd be a long time away. Fashion report, no one cares about. Alright, I'm skipping. I'll talk about the glamour dresser, but not fashion report.
Yeah, but not fashion report, of course.
When will fishers receive a new secondary? Sly, this is all about you.
I could live without it, honestly. Like, yeah, I understood the question. Like, it has been a past concern of mine, but I understand why, and I could live without it. I'm fine.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
They're looking to add cash shop items, Mog Station items to the armoire because they can't use it for the Calamity Salvager because it's not achievement related. Asking if we could fix dyes for the Glamour Dresser. Can't do that. Doesn't store the dye information when you shove it. I'm sorry, in the armoire. Yeah, not the Glamour Dresser, the armoire. They're buffing the MSQ stuff again because clearly the initial rewards weren't enough. Have you done a main scenario roulette, Sly?
No.
Do you plan on doing one?
No. Even though I should, because it's so damn good now. I mean,
no, it's
when I go back.
So Sly, we've mathed it out. Okay.
Okay, that's the math.
Regardless of level, let's say you complete a dungeon that pre-max level in about 18 minutes. Let's say that 18 to 20 minutes, right? If you have Recipe XP for 2 of those, like, just of level dungeons, like, let's say you're level 51 or something, you do Dust Vision. Let's just say you have rested. That's worth slightly more than doing the MSQ roulette, which takes a little bit longer. However, if you don't have the rest of the XP, the MSQ roulette, if you can complete it like at about 40 to 45 minutes, which is average, is better. So if they buff it again, it's going to be pretty much the most dominant means of a single instance in terms of EXP gain. It's also just the most boring thing you'll ever do in your fucking life.
Well, that's kind of what you want to do with the boring stuff. You want to give incentive. It's a good incentive.
That's not working with Zora Magdaros and Monster Hunter. Sly, you can't get me to do that fight more than fucking twice. It sucks.
Have you already gotten all the gems you need for Zora?
I'm HR. Yeah, I got one from the first kill. I'm HR 60. Okay. I'm not touching that fucking guy. All right. I'm not fucking.
Not even to help.
No.
Not even to help.
No. Fuck. No one needs help on that. Nergigante just runs. Just stick the balls in the cannon and you're done. Get the NPCs to stick the balls in the cannon.
Exactly.
All right. They don't. Let's talk about this instead of talking about Final Fantasy. All right.
Yeah.
All right. Anyway. They're not nerfing the Byakko Extreme Tank LB3 thing. They said it wasn't intentional, but they don't plan on nerfing it.
Yeah, it's something that players found works themselves, and they don't want to nerf it, and I understand it. They shouldn't. If we find shit, like... What would you consider something that has happened through an EX Primal that would need to be nerfed?
This is like that wouldn't or would need to be?
Would.
One easy example is Ramuh. The 0 tank Ramuh where you just use Titan.
Titan, okay.
Because it everyone's like, I'm not bringing a tank to this fight. Why the fuck? Although I always liked having a backup tank in case Titan died. The problem is, if Titan dies, he's not getting aggro back for the rest of the fight at any point.
Pretty much.
So that's like the only real thing, I think, because it shut an entire role out of being able to do it. Actually, you know, it was a nice alternative is to have 2 summoners, and then when the first Titan dies, then the second one takes over.
Yeah, nice. Tank and off tank. There you go.
Yeah, except there's no Vogue swaps or anything like that.
No.
And then also, Sly, did you ask a question for this live letter by any chance?
Here we go.
No, Sly, I want to know. Did you ask any? Did you turn anything into Q&A?
No, I did not.
Well, because apparently he wants to let people know there's a rumor where people believe warriors playing on an SSD have an advantage inside of the Sigmascape V1 Savage. It doesn't change anything because the load time is set to be a stable amount regardless. It actually can't load faster if you have an SSD.
Okay. We'll try it again tonight. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work.
I'm just saying. I'm more surprised that he doesn't understand why people are saying that. It's an obvious, like, hey, this is the 05 Savage cheese doesn't work without an SSD. And instead of addressing the cheese, he just goes, why would they have an advantage? No, you don't have an advantage. I was really surprised at that. Yeah, you just have to be at the ghost before it starts moving.
But it does.
No, you can touch it before it even starts crossing. Like, it takes like 3 seconds before it starts crossing. You can you can just walk into the little fucker.
I'll try it again tonight.
You mean he'll try it again tonight?
Yeah.
You're not the warrior. You ain't trying shit.
Yeah.
Sigmascape going as planned. We got a hard answer. The next beast tribe will indeed be Craft and Gathering.
Yes.
But I didn't even think they asked that. All they said is who will be the next beast tribe. And he didn't even answer that.
He didn't even answer that. Like, we're kind of amongst the same school of thought that it's going to be the Domin Enclave.
Yeah.
Or the, yeah.
We'll be rebuilding the Domin Enclave, like 100%. You can actually take a boat to the Domin Enclave right now. And the guy will be like, no, you can't come in yet. So yeah, 100% rebuilding the Domin Enclave in 4.3.
Said that you may see some characters that were involved in the main scenario as well, so please look forward to it.
Hien, Yugiri, Gotetsu, I mean, whatever his fucking name is, I don't even remember. Yeah, so that's going to be exciting. I can finally level them. I've been waiting for that, Sly.
You have all these leaves just sitting, waiting for you to use them, and you're just waiting on the Domin Enclave.
Oh, you can actually go straight to the Domin Enclave. I think the only reason he wouldn't let me in is because I didn't do all the prerequisite quests. I didn't do the level 54 one, which I think it says in the patch notes you have to do. Or something along those lines.
You might want to get on that then.
Oh, you know what? I know why I can't go in there. I didn't finish the main story yet. I just got the Hell's Lid. I watched Ethos do the whole thing, so I felt no rush to do it.
Yeah. You're still on that bullshit where, I watch Ethos do the whole thing. I don't have to do this.
I mean, I gotta do it, but I watched Ethos do it, so I feel no rush. There's some dude who is like, just chill, man. That's it. Triple Triad, they're considering changing shit. Number of minions have increased. Like, we get the fucking tab that differentiates them. Are gonna change fates, the large scale fates, not the rewards, but maybe the scaling. You can get your Susano and Lakshmi doggos at 4.25. Sly, do you have any doggos? Any doggos at all?
Yeah, I have both. I just don't have the poop doggo.
Fuck you. Anyway, I don't have any doggos.
Not even Byakko. Are you even gonna go for the Byakko doggo?
Sly.
It's easy to get.
Sly.
10 LB the win.
Fun fact, Sly. Fun fact.
Mm-hmm.
If you farm 99 totems for Byakko, that means you will have spent over 3 hours of your life in the air phase, assuming no wipes.
Yeah, I remember that math.
I'm reminding you. Those are 3 hours I don't want to use. I don't want it.
You'll get it for 99. Sure.
No, I won't. Because I won't try. I don't want it.
Okay.
You know what, though? I could go for a mount that seats 4 to 8 players, though. And they said they may implement one of those in the future. A 4 to 8 player mount.
You still want the Regalia?
I didn't say I want it. That's just my guess.
You want it, though.
I don't want it, though.
I don't want a shoe puff.
You don't want a tackle box, right?
I want to ride the shoe puff. Yeah.
All right, a shoe puff for an 8-player mount. We could do that. All right.
Yeah.
Chocobo companions. Are you making any adjustments? It's complicated. Please give us more time. In other words, please forget about it by the time we actually would have something. Yeah.
Basically. Yeah.
They're gonna
hard to find emotes.
Yeah, more emotes. There's a lot of emotes this patch. Have you seen how many emotes there are to buy with like Grand Company seals and like Centurio seals and shit?
A lot of emotes.
It was in the patch notes. It kind of didn't sink in until after I was already in game. I haven't bought any of them yet though. I couldn't be asked. And listen, if you had thrown them into squadrons again, I would have been all over that. Sort of.
Of course you would have.
But
of course you would have.
I'm not giving away my Centurio seals that I'm using for desynthesis to fucking do an emote. No, I'm not doing that. I'm not doing it. Oh, Sly, this next question is definitely for you. What's the status on the mobile app?
Yeah, boy. What's the status? Well, we're looking at 4.3, but 4.4. 4.4. I'm calling it. I'm calling that for the mobile app. 4.4 for the mobile app.
They're looking into releasing it by 4.3. It could be earlier. They also said they want to show it in a future letter from the producer live. It's tied in game, so they're making sure they don't screw it up. Because if it screws up in the app, it's going to screw up your character data too.
How long have you asked for this app?
How long have they been talking about it is the real question.
Yeah.
A long... I remember when Triple Triad was supposed to be tied to our cards in-game. That ever... I mean, there is the Portal app, it's just not tied in any way.
Right.
Yeah. That's gonna be one day. We're skipping 25 because it's the Eureka explanation. We'll come back to that. There's not enough octopus in the game. It sounds like a Peaches question, but apparently there's a food in the game that's used. I think it's a direct hit food or something. It's called takoyaki.
Yeah, it's a really good raid food, yeah.
Yeah. And apparently it's just the octopus have a shit catch rate to make it. So it's like way overpriced. So it looks like a Peaches question at first until you realize it's about the octopus you need to make takoyaki.
Right.
Mannequins. This is one I've been asking for a long time.
We've all been asking for it, so this isn't a Peaches question.
No, far from it.
Apparently, they're working towards the implementation of mannequins. If it's just to put it inside the house as decoration, it'd be easy, but we're making adjustments so that you can dress the mannequins. So, meaning you can have like a set, like a row of armor.
You can take that raid armor that's not worth anything to you anymore, and that you don't want to throw in the glamour thing, and you could throw it on this. You could have like a room that basically is displayed as an armory, in a sense.
Yeah.
Depending on what the limits are, like the data, because like there could be fancy rules, like you can only have X amount of mannequins, or only certain amounts of data can be. I don't know. We've dealt with it before.
Right.
We've been asking for this for a long time. It's because we're going to be referencing 11 a lot anyway in the show. Mannequins like that existed in 11, basically.
Yeah.
And it's a nice additional way of doing something with your old armor, other than just glamour, pretty much, or Grand Company seals. But yeah, that's good. That's something we've been asking for a long time as well. Dude, I don't do anything with my apartment. I would put up a wall of. I would put up just a shit ton of mannequins.
We think the exact same thing, because I don't have anything in my apartment. It's just a blank canvas with nothing in there. And the first time I thought I got it, I think, yeah, this would be a good place to store all that gear as that I don't really use. And yeah. Please give me a reason to use my apartment, please, and thank you.
Yeah, please. And chat brings up what my idea for the limitation was, but because I don't do housing stuff, I didn't know the name for it. Under interaction items, which there's a limit on. So that's the thing. Yeah, that's likely to be the thing. Alpha merchandise. I mean, you got to be able to find an old Chocobo Dungeon plushie of Alpha somewhere, right? Because that's what he's from. He's from Chocobo Dungeon originally. He's not called Alpha there.
Yeah, it had to be really obscure, though. You'd have to really dig deep in Japan to find it, though. But I'm thinking that we'll see it at FanFest. We will.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. Load old locations in group pose. That's just so you can use the location that's not your current one with group pose. Mm-hmm. Can we get old Final Fantasy games in the toy box? I was amazed this wasn't a no.
Boy. It's not a no, but he has to talk to the queen of Mog Station.
It's higher than that. He's got to go to the CEO. He's got to go to all the team.
That too, obviously. But let's say for a fact that Square says yes, and legal passes it down. Then Mog Station has to determine how much this shit's gonna cost.
And that's the thing. They never really say that they would put them on the Mog Station, but I think we all know that's the option.
Logically, they would. Yeah, logically, that's the only option. Really, they're not going to offer you this shit for free.
No way. I mean, you could argue.
As much as your sub.
I was going to say,
yeah. As much as you pay your sub, sure, but nah.
I wouldn't be surprised if they were less expensive if you were playing them in Final Fantasy XIV versus if you were playing them on Steam, because you're already paying the monthly sub screen, so you're getting your money. That wouldn't surprise me. Yeah. But I'm just shocked that wasn't immediately no. But we all know that sometimes Yoshi and the team like to do shit that's I guess like he says, not impossible, but it's it would be really cool for them to achieve. So it's already a theme park and shit. Having the games in the game itself, I also like that he doesn't even want to just have the old NES or SNES games. He wants Tactics, which is PlayStation 1 game in there. If Tactics re-releases in Final Fantasy XIV before Steam, I'm going to be mad. And I know a lot of other people who will be mad. They're waiting for a Steam re-release of Tactics for ages.
Just play it on 14. What's the problem?
I mean, I'm just saying I feel like they'd reach a wider audience if it was on Steam first.
Hey, more subs.
That's true. And I think that's why he doesn't say no, because ultimately, if you have to log into Final Fantasy XIV to play the other game, and you're subbed for that, I think that might be why.
I mean, it's a little bit of a cash grab, but at the same time,
I mean, how many Final Fantasy IV has been re-released like 11 fucking times? Why not a 12th at this point, right?
Pretty much.
And then after this, it's mostly the Soken questions, like the lyrics for Jade. So, you know, not to B-Stripe stuff. So this is the stuff we won't really get into because it just doesn't translate well to like we can't really have much of a discussion about this kind of stuff. Although the Eorzean Orchestra will be in Los Angeles in June, the weekend after E3. In the Dolby Theater where the Academy Awards are held.
Gotta get fancy for it.
Yeah, I kind of want to go. I don't know, maybe. I forget when the tickets go on sale. So
he says maybe he's going.
No, because I don't like go to Distant Worlds or anything like that. Like I don't really go to like orchestra or like music performance events.
I mean, unless it's at an event you're already at, like KupoCon.
No, even then, when I go to KupoCon, I don't go to the Distant Worlds concert the night before. I fucking sleep is what I. I fucking sleep that night because I'm tired after flying. So, no, yeah. And then also the Primals are getting their own, like, a Just Primals album that's going to have some more songs on it. Instead of just coming with another album, like the extra songs. So, that's going to be fun. I'm down. I'm down for that. And the Stormblood OST, they'll talk about it a little bit more soon.
Summer. I'm thinking summer.
Yeah, they just said the only issue they're running into right now is that it's not all fitting on one disc, and they want it to fit on one disc. So that's
digital's so much easier anyway. So
yeah, the pre-sales for the orchestra start on the 18th of this month. See, I'm not gonna know if I want to go to that by the 18th. Like, especially it's gonna be like after going to E3 for 3 days. Like, I live in LA, but still, I don't know that I want to do that. I haven't really decided yet. So those are all the non-Eureka related things. If you're someone watching and interested in the Soken stuff, then either you probably want to rewatch the live letter or go to the official Q&A thread.
Yep.
But we all know what we really want to talk about, Sly.
Final Fantasy XI, let's go! Woo! Finally get to play. How we doing?
I should have brought in Nero.
How we doing?
I should have brought in Nero on the show.
You should have.
I should have been like, hey, Nate. I don't want Nate on the show. I want a Nero on the show.
A Nero, exactly.
I could already imagine it. You know, it's about time they finally listen to me. I mean, obviously they've been watching the podcast every week. I'm waiting for that. I didn't watch their one this last week about Eureka, so I can only imagine it went something like that. Love you, Nate.
Love you.
Okay. All right, so we finally got the nitty-gritty on Eureka the Forbidden Land. Still some things we don't know 100% certainty. They always leave us a little bit of mystery, but we can at least talk about the basics, Sly. So, Sly, other than obviously relating it to Final Fantasy XI, which we'll talk about a lot here, what were your first thoughts upon seeing it? Knowing that this is where your weapon and your armor is going to be built, and they're going to be adding more zones as it goes, etc., etc.
I'm intrigued. I definitely want to learn more. You know, again, makes me want to actually sub to 11.
No, it doesn't.
You're right. It doesn't.
Trust me on that one.
The difference in elemental level is gonna be fucking huge. The fact that it scares me, like, makes me even more intrigued. Like, if you're getting rocked for like 60k per hit, like, the fuck is hitting me? Like, when I saw that, I was like, yes, I'm down.
All right,
I'm down.
Listen, I was thinking the same thing, Homer. if when you're AFK in Eureka, if it doesn't play the Play Online theme, that would be a huge missed opportunity. All right. Okay, so let's cover little by little, and I do have a few images to go along with it, but it's just when we talk about the thing that the image is showing, then we'll go over that. So Eureka itself is, as they describe it, an unexplored, untamed wild where the very elements are constantly in flux. While exploring Eureka and growing in strength, players have the opportunity to obtain and enhance Eureka gear and weapons. Strengthening the weapons in Eureka isn't required to keep exploring. Up to 144 players can occupy the instance, so it's kind of like a new field area in a sense, and you can form and disband parties at will. Now, the first image I want to bring up is this one. It seems like a really simple image. It's him queuing into Eureka. And by the way, credit to the Reddit Discord. This is from their unofficial translation. It's the image of Yoshida queuing in. So this is coming from the Reddit Discord, who did an unofficial translation the day of the live letters. Thank you to them. There's a couple of things I want to note. For one, you can queue in. It queues in like an instance. You have 3 hours inside the instance, but you can just do whatever you want once you're in there. It's just like a field area with a time limit on it, pretty much.
Right.
One thing that they didn't mention at all, Sly, do you have the picture in front of you by any chance?
Yeah, I do.
There's an NPC behind this person in Kugane that you can see, and it says the Lockpicker.
Lockpick. It's going to be like Diadem.
It's going to be like Diadem and Palace of the Dead for that one feature in particular, where I have a feeling enemies or events will cause boxes to drop, and there's going to be materia and crafting materials and shit like that inside of the lock boxes themselves. They never brought it up, but I couldn't help but notice the lockpicker back there. Unless that lockpicker's already there for something else, and I'm just oblivious to it, in a sense.
Let me log in.
I actually like the lockbox system. Like when I'm doing Palace of the Dead, when I left Palace of the Dead, I always felt really good going through my lockboxes. Even if I got complete trash, I still like the excitement of it without the loot box, I guess, esque feel of, like Overwatch or something like that. What do you think they put in the lockboxes in here? I'm thinking all the Final Fantasy XI gear is actually from the lockboxes, like the stuff we'll show later.
Please don't. I think they kind of keep it the same. Well, I wouldn't say as POTD, because POTD was just, most of it was just trash anyway. Trash and materia.
Dude, I had use for everything other than the fireworks. The fireworks were the worst thing about Palace of the Dead.
Yes. And I got a crap ton of fireworks that I had sitting in retainers.
At least now it's stacks up to 999, Sly.
Hooray. Great.
So you don't think the Final Fantasy
Palace of the
stuff?
Dead?
You don't think the Final Fantasy XI stuff comes from the lockboxes?
Mats, maybe a little bit of materia.
The Final Fantasy XI stuff?
No. Just crafting mats in general.
You think there's a mountain there? like the Dark Pegasus? A minion? Anything like that?
Not mounts. Did PLTD do mounts?
Yeah, it for the Pegasus. Comes from floor 150 plus.
Yeah, I know they do minions, so minions we'll probably get new minions from Eureka. You didn't get leaves from this, did you? No, you got outfits. What's the outfit from POTD that everybody sold like first week for?
I don't remember. There was a bunch of them. There were like Expeditioner ones. There was a bunch of them. I used to descent Expeditioner.
There's going to be a bunch of those. There's going to be a bunch of those, but not the 11. I think the 11 you can get without using the lockbox. No. The 11 outfit armor.
I like what the chat suggested. Remember when they said they actually might delete Diadem? They could just throw the Diadem lockbox stuff in there. It's possible. I'm just saying they did suggest that it was something they might.
So wait. You think we're actually getting rid of Diadem? We're blowing it up?
I'm just saying that they would have a place to put the stuff like the Hunting Hawk.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
Is that Hunting Hawk still going for shit or no?
I don't know. I have no idea. I don't know if didn't the Hawk get changed to be one of the fates or something? It became super common. One of the boss fates. I feel like that happened. I know a bunch of minions came from like the rare boss fates that would spawn in Diadem, but I think the Hunting Hawk became pretty common towards the when it got re-released.
Right.
Yeah. But I just wanted to show that and just talk about it because it was a completely untalked about topic, pretty much at the
6.6 mil. Okay. All right, so it's still going for quite a bit. So yeah,
I wonder if it's 6.6 just because no one's in Diadem at this point. It's kind of like Aquapolis has some expensive stuff because of no one does Aquapolis.
I mean, but I wouldn't say no one does Aquapolis. People still do Aquapolis. People don't do Diadem.
Yeah, nobody does Diadem.
Exactly.
Not a single person does Diadem.
Nope. If you are, why?
I remember somebody
just humor me. Why?
Somebody in my stream the other day said that they went into Diadem for something. I don't remember why.
For what? What do you need
to experience the content, Sly?
No. I'll save you the experience. Let me save you the experience now. No, don't go. It's terrible. I just don't do it.
I just like the no. Like I suggested something and you're just like, no, that didn't happen.
No, there's your experience. Terrible. Don't do it.
They can fish in Diadem still.
Hooray!
You can farm Darksteel in there apparently.
Oh my god!
Some people are desperate enough for materia that maybe they still go in there.
Bruh, seriously?
I'm just saying. There's reasons.
Seriously?
Just nobody's going in there as like a group of 64 to kill the emergency mission. There you go. See, Ash,
honestly, that was the funnest.
If Ash says there's a reason to go in, I'm listening to him. He says easier cordial mats. I'm listening to him. Fuck you, Sly. I don't give a shit.
Ash, come on. It's just us. You can be real. It's just us. It's just the community. You can be real. Come on, man. Come on.
Anyway. Moving on, I'm going to move on to the next image that I'm going to use, and it's specifically an image of the map itself. Now, as we know, this is the first zone in Eureka. Anemos, which I believe is wind? I believe that's what Anemos means, it means wind or something. I remember seeing or hearing or reading that somewhere. But the zone seems pretty big. It's got 3 Aetherites. It's got a bunch of other zones. It's got a bunch of names for all of them. And there seems to be a decent variety of the zones as well.
Yeah, and it looked like from the map, it looked like there was, empty spots. So there was like unexplored areas.
Towards the right-hand side of the map, it looks like there's still
toward the
stuff.
east.
Yeah. We also don't know if there's caves that aren't maybe showing on the map. Like I remember, if you remember, just going back to Diadem, since people are drawing all these comparisons anyway, and we're bringing it up a lot. There were caves on the islands you could go into that weren't necessarily like their own maps, but they existed under the map that was there, and added a little bit more space to it.
Now, the confusing part about this that they talked about is that you can't mount. You can't mount when you go into the I was about to say Diadem. You can't mount when you go into the Eureka.
Diarrhea.
Diarrhea. Yeah, you can't mount when you go to Eureka. You can't fly. I'm thinking once you explore, what was the wording? Once you explore,
I think it says when you explore the whole map. Hold on, let me find it real quick. Aetherites mount. You cannot mount until exploration is completed. Even then, you can't fly. So basically, once you've discovered the entire zone, I imagine, it unlocks the ability to mount.
And then flying would be at maybe a later date.
I think flying would be introduced when the next zone comes out, because at this point, it's been reduced to... I almost consider flying like the Echo equivalent of Eureka. Like, don't add Echo to Eureka, just add flying once the zone is out of relevancy, and it helps get people up to the next tier a little bit faster.
Yeah.
But I looking at this map, I was pretty happy with. They only showed 2 areas. I was pretty happy with the variety of both those areas. One was like a beach with like tornadoes or like dust storms, and the other one was like a forest with very, very angry monkeys. Very angry monkeys.
60k monkey. Jesus.
Yeah.
But that had to be like element level 10.
It was elemental level 10 versus his 1, and it was a disaster. And we'll talk about that in a second. So I'm going to present this question to you now while we have the map up, since it's about the location. When and how do you think they expand Eureka? Because very clearly they say this is the first map of Eureka, and new areas will be added later. Specifically, Eureka will expand during the 4.x series, not expand eventually like 5.0. It says specifically, Eureka will continue to expand during 4.x.
4.7 confirmed. I think they expand around it from what I see. I mean, this is just, it looks
I think
so
a whole new zone. I think they've actually developed, like three or maybe 3 zones at max for Eureka.
No, I still think they keep the same. I think they border it off for right now, and then the zone expands.
No, I think we can go to this whole map. We can 100% use this whole map right now. Oh, do you think? Oh, I never mind. I get what you're saying. I get it.
Yeah.
Almost treat it like Lenosha has middle Lenosha and upper Lenosha. Oh, okay. Yeah. I mean, that's still kind of the same. It's still a bunch of different zones. I think we're just going to take a boat to the different zones. I think one will be Onimos, one will be like, I guess we'll call this is wind, then water, earth, fire, the different ones.
Right.
Yeah. Specifically, the concern here is with the level, with I guess people abandoning the old zone. There's always the concern about that. The solo ability and the ability to level in the old zones. We know you can level solo, but that it's not great. I don't know that they would update it later to make the leveling, I guess, more streamlined for people who are trying to catch up.
I wouldn't think of Eureka as a soloable. Well, like you say, you can.
It's like soloable, like Palace of the Dead is soloable. Like
exactly,
it's not friendly to it, but it's not unachievable. One person has soloed all Palace of the Dead now, so it's not unachievable.
It's not unachievable, but make friends if you don't have any. Please,
just go make friends. All right,
make friends.
So that's what we have for that zone. I'm gonna get the next image up, but we're back on screen while I do that. So don't do anything embarrassing, Sly. I'm not even looking at the fucking screen. I got nothing. Okay. All right, let's see. All right. So the next thing we have to talk about is the I keep always wanting to call it the elemental wheel. It's called the Maggia Melder.
Just call it the wheel. That's what I call it.
The wheel.
The wheel.
The fucking wheel. There it is. So this is on top of elemental level, just naturally going up against other enemies' elemental levels. The other aspect to it is this elemental the Maggia Melder, as this is called right here. Basically, as you level up, you get Magicite that you can put into this wheel, and it gives you increased attack or defense against specific elements based on, the average, like lightning beats water, water beats, fire beats ice, that whole elemental. That's why I call it the elemental wheel, even though it's not, I guess, organized in that order.
My question is how well we know the Magicite regenerates like over time, but how fast?
Well, not even that. We're just talking about the melding of the Magicite, like the base 6 categories that you have before we even get to the spinny thing.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I'm just jumping ahead because that was my main concern. To be
fair, they're both wheels, so it's really confusing. That's why I don't want to get used to calling this one the wheel. The other one is an actual wheel. This one just looks like a wheel, I suppose.
Wheels.
You can respec this at any point as long as you go to a Maggia Melder that's actually in Eureka. They're like a golden spinning thing that's like exists near the Aetherites. And so if you want to fight specific enemies, you generally have to tailor your elemental wheel to some degree to go up against the enemies that you plan on attacking. An example that's given here is the first 2 Magicite levels are worth 26% bonus damage and 26% bonus resistance, depending on which is being applied, if it's strong against that enemy or if it's a defensive element. The third level, I think the 3rd and 4th level were 14 each, and then the 5th level was 10.
So it starts scaling.
Yeah, it starts scaling. There's a bit of diminishing returns
at 3.
Going up to
At 3.
Yeah,
at 3. Yeah.
So it kind of almost encourages you to maybe have a little bit in everything in case you run across anything that isn't anticipated, and then to take your remaining levels and specialize into specific enemies that you may want to go up against, like bosses. Now, I guess I should actually move to the actual the wheel, as I like to call it. But the one thing that's left here, elemental EXP, you just get that from killing enemies. So that's the big thing that people are talking about here, is that ultimately we're just killing enemies in here. What did you expect, Sly?
Basically what I expect.
I have a question, Sly. I'm gonna pull us back up on the screen for this one.
Okay.
When an MMO that's primarily focused on you being the savior of a realm makes a new piece of content that involves item level gear and upgrading and everything, What kind of activities do you expect to do?
Oh, I don't know. Going to Fates and getting crystals and bullshit. That's what I expect.
But what is the core thing you expect to be doing the whole time?
Killing shit.
Yeah. I don't know where the expectation was that would be much different for some people in Eureka. I mean, we could throw in some fetch quests if people want.
No, don't.
Tennis.
Don't make it grindier than it is.
We could,
Please.
What else could we do?
No.
We could,
No.
siege weapons.
Mm-mm.
You could have Moogles run it.
No. That'd actually be a good revenge. Thank you. I think people would accept that. That's a good idea. Okay, I'll give you that.
The core concept is killing enemies to increase elemental EXP and then killing enemies to get other stuff, like the upgrade materials, which we'll talk about in a little bit. I don't know. I feel like everyone was so surprised when the core concept was just killing shit.
I don't see how.
So, I said we'd be talking about Final Fantasy XI today. Sly, you've asked me before, and I want you to ask me again. Is there anything in 11 that I would want to see in 14?
Is there anything in 11 that you want to see in 14?
No. But,
Damn it.
But I want to see 14 start applying a basic concept that 11 did that allowed it to push out lots of different kinds of content. And that was the idea of taking what is the base purpose of the game, is killing enemies to get loot, and apply different rule sets to it while reusing assets. Because that allows you to push out variety of content without actually changing up the way that, I guess, the core concept of what the game is trying to be. I feel like it allows you to innovate and invent a little bit more without having to go overboard on creating new shit. Clearly they went overboard because they're creating entirely new zones here. But the core concept is something I want to see them exercise more of. Palace of the Dead exercised it really well. Reused a shit ton of assets to make this multi-floor dungeon that's semi-random and that has, you know, the solo and the 4 people and the bosses and all that stuff. Diadem reward structure was the problem there for me, not necessarily the rest of the design, which I will talk about here a little bit as well. And I think that while it sounds conceptually not like the greatest thing, I don't know what was expected. I just don't know what was expected.
See?
I just don't know. I don't know where the expectation was.
I don't know if there was any other expectation to
there are people who are absolutely like, oh, we're just killing things, and I'm just like,
where else could you have gone? Like, what else could you have thought of? Besides, well, no. I was gonna say like farming freaking Sigmascape for hours on end.
That's called wiping, Sly. When you're in Sigmascape for hours on end, we call that wiping. It's a JRPG. We just kill shit, man.
I mean, not Sigmascape, Deltascape. I don't know why I said Sigmascape.
Doesn't matter either way. If you're spending hours in either of them, it's probably for wiping. I don't see why you're spending hours in Deltascape anymore.
Remember how we had the, like, for one phase of Relic, we had the, you know...
Oh, don't bring that back up. Don't bring up the 210 step. Don't bring it up. No.
Yeah, and...
Don't do it.
And
no need to Sly. Shut up.
No, it was not Midas. It was,
It was Gordius, Sly. Yeah, shut up.
Yeah. Yeah.
It was fucking normal mode.
That's fun.
It was 800 runs of normal mode. Ooh. Unless you did other shit like hunt. Or other, I don't know, other things.
I didn't.
I did.
No.
Twice.
Good for you. Good for you. I just did normal mode like 800 times. Good for you.
I did normal mode. I did it twice. Sly?
Good job.
Anyway. So on top of having the melder that we just showed, there's also a wheel. And the wheel is more along the lines of how you'll, I guess, apply it in combat. And I'll pull that picture up right now. There we go. So when you're out in the field, you'll see this all the time. It's a UI element, so you can assume you can make it smaller, move it, all those things, you know. And basically, it just shows you what you did with your points. Like if you have 5 points in lightning, 5 points in water, it'll show that. But what you can do is you can actually readjust what they're spec'd to using a Magicite roll, pretty much. So like if you have them as they showed here, at base he has 3 points in lightning and 2 points in water, and then he rotates it. Now he has 3 points in fire, 2 points in ice, for example. And it allows you to be flexible on the go at the cost of you have to wait a little bit to recharge how many Magicite rerolls that you have. And this is kind of interesting. I don't know if it was ever mentioned if it can be used in combat, like if there's a boss that summons ads that have a different element.
That you can switch on the fly. That was what I was concerned with too.
Yeah.
Being able to switch it on the fly. So I think they would. Again, we don't have all the information, but I think they would allow you to do that if you had the Magicite.
Yeah. I just assume it won't be able to, and you'll just be able to basically, if you're out in the field and you need to change it without actually traveling back to the Maggia Melder, this is kind of your solution. But you're restricted to rolling the actual thing, so you don't have like complete freedom for it.
I'm just thinking about the mobs and like how you'll have a mob like a bunch of stuff in one area and each having different resistances, and you have to switch on the fly. I don't see why you wouldn't be able to.
Yeah, it's tough to tell because when you target an enemy, it's hard to see because this image is actually of when it was rotating. But it actually, when you target an enemy, it lets you know what element would give you an offensive advantage and what element would give you a defensive advantage. So it's completely, I guess, user-friendly in a sense. There'd never be any sort of confusion, or you don't have to worry about not recognizing what the actual icons look like or being colorblind. Never have to worry about that. It gives you the information that you need. Just line the numbers up with the circles and you'll be good. So I guess our question still is, how does this become applied to actually exploring Eureka and, you know, out in the world, and how long does it take to recharge? It looks like upon visiting a Maggia Melder, it recharges to 5 automatically. But because at that point you've been back to town, so I guess why not?
Right.
So yeah, that's pretty much it. You just rotate it. That's it.
Yeah.
So hopefully you know that if you have 3 and what, you know what though? Just realized something.
What's up?
I'm looking at the elements right now, and I realized the way they have it set up is somewhat interesting. I realized that lightning and water are diagonally apart right here. They're 2 spaces apart exactly. And
right.
I guess that it's how would I describe this? Elemental wheel's right, but I guess the way that it goes between the elements is it like rotates 2 clockwise, and then that's the element that it's strong against. Like lightning, you go 2 over, it's water. You go 2 over again, it's no, that's not true.
Fire.
Yeah, I don't know. I never mind. Ignore me. I guess that's just for the offense one, but I thought I saw a pattern here. But either way, just you can only adjust it with rotating. Is the thing that's worth mentioning. And it's also worth mentioning that this doesn't actually change your spec. It just rotates it for combat. It's also worth mentioning. It's just rotating points. There you go. Yeah, I realized I was wrong there. Like the little notice one. Let's see. What else do we have here? Elemental aspects of enemies. I guess we kind of just covered that. I guess we didn't cover how effective it is. Man, he was a level 1 elemental level. And he walked into
good lord.
He walked into a level 10 and got hit for 60k. Now, I'd like to point out that
it was between 50 and 60k per hit because he was on God mode. But still, Jesus.
I'd like to point out that if he had 5 elements in the element that would have given him a defensive bonus, would have
only been
30,000-ish.
Yeah.
And that's still a lot. So at that point, it's never really mentioned that elemental level itself is, I guess, paired up against enemy elemental level. But I guess it's implied after seeing that.
Bring friends. Make sure
I don't think
respect yourself out.
I don't think they expect you to take 30k in auto and then the occasional like instant tank buster or something like that. Like I have a feeling it's also gonna pair up your elemental level against their elemental level directly to determine sort of like a flat kind of, I guess the way it kind of happens in Palace of the Dead with armor and weapons versus your level versus the enemy level, etc., etc. Yeah. It's going to be interesting though, seeing how this actually applies to in combat, I guess is the best way of addressing it. Then he said, this one I thought was funny. Although it's sometimes sunny in Eureka, the weather's often bad due to untamed wild elements. It's just apparently the weather's really shit there a lot of the time, Sly. Wonder if that has why. I wonder if that has any effect on the actual like elemental board or the enemies or anything like that.
Logically, it should.
Logically, but practically, I don't know that they'll actually, I guess, do it. Let's see. What are some other things that are here? When you die, they're keeping the EXP loss. Apparently, you lose EXP starting at level 6, but you can't actually de-level until after 11.
Until 11, yeah.
They better use the Final Fantasy 11 level down. Like, there are things that like you don't want to draw comparisons to Final Fantasy 11 with, because ultimately, I never did anything in 11 that was like this. The closest thing was probably, I guess, Dynamis, and even that had a much different rule set than the way this does, than the way this exists and operates. But I don't know. I don't know where to take that. Where to take that, but the level down sound has to be the same as 11, right? When you level down in 11, you need to hear there's this really depressing sound that comes with it, and I'm gonna find it right now and play it for everyone. Level down Final Fantasy 11 sound. Where is it? Is this it?
On the stream.
That's definitely the that's a depressing sound.
Okay. Well, I wouldn't mind. A lot of people just got PTSD. Are you still going? Still going. Okay. All right.
All right, I'm done. Oh, I was having way too much fun with that one.
Sound like it.
Sounds like your computer is taking a dump. There you go. So if they use that sound, it'll be good. There are times where it's right to use Final Fantasy XI callbacks, and that's definitely one of them.
Was it though? Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Those enemies, by the way, they changed something from something they told us in the last live alert. Last live alert told us the enemies would never stop chasing you. Here, it's just a long distance. They will follow you.
So they do have a leash point.
Yes, they do have a leash point now.
Okay.
So it's very far. He like pulls one in like the southeast side of the map.
I swear to God, he went like a good maybe 5 football fields and still got rocked.
Yeah. I think that thing stayed with him for a while. A pretty long while. So, but it looks like they will actually be they're just trying to discourage you from just running past things in general.
Run past one mob and then find another. Yeah, that's basically what's going to happen. You're going
to
pull everything.
When he tried to do it, he quickly ran into some issues. It's just, he was invincible. So for him, it didn't really matter too much. For the rest of us, we don't have God mode. So it's not quite the same. Right. Next thing to talk about, and this is going to be a big topic, notorious monsters. Again, a term that originated in Final Fantasy XI. Refers to bosses, basically. And fate monsters nowadays are referred to as notorious monsters. Hunts are very regularly referred to as notorious monsters. Here, basically, they appear, quote, under certain conditions and drop rare items, which may cover also the Final Fantasy XI stuff that I guess was in the lockbox. Who knows? It works the same way as Fates in terms of contribution, where anyone can attack and get rewards. It's not a claim system like Final Fantasy XI, but the concern here is may appear under certain conditions. that's a very broad term for what ultimately leads to how long and how specific a condition. Is it going to be like only under wind weather, only under dark weather, you know?
Had to kill something to spawn it.
Gotta kill something to spawn it. The hunts took a while for people to figure out how to spawn all the S ranks and stuff. But the problem with them in Eureka is it's been said that you need I guess a super protean crystal, a very specific protean crystal, which is the rewards you get from killing enemies, from notorious monsters in order to complete different weapons and armor.
Thank God it's not a claim system.
But what if it's still like, what if something takes hours to spawn? What if something takes days to spawn? Well, can you get the same type of crystal of different notorious monsters? You don't need just the one?
It'll be on Areala eventually. Come on.
I guess that's not my concern. Like, nobody does hunts just to get one item for, like, a relic upgrade. They do it to get the seals, and the seals can be used, you know, across multiple things. That's what it is. This seems like it's very much in the realm of do it because you need this upgrade item. And if it's something where in a 3-hour instance, the boss isn't guaranteed to spawn in that 3-hour instance, it starts to get worrisome for the players that have maybe 3 hours a day total to fucking play the game. And we already know that, obviously, for you and me, that's not a big issue. But for the people who are under those constraints, it becomes an issue. If you're someone who, I guess, these upgrades are targeted towards you, like the not raiders, I suppose. The not raiders is the best way to put it. Well, I mean, if you're not raiding, like, what other way? You have Byakko, and then you have 7 weeks of normal mode.
I mean, that's the first thing you said.
That's not
You have Byakko.
Listen, I'm just trying to save them from my misery, all right? I'm just saying. Whereas notorious monsters are classically lent to more hardcore players. It just seems like the idea of this being the weapon that the more casually playing player base works on versus notorious monsters is very often affiliated with hardcore players. I'm worried about the balance there between the two.
Keyword.
I guess that's just something. I don't know. What do you think? Where do you think they're gonna go with notorious monsters, like in terms of balancing for the different player bases?
I don't think they do.
You think they just say fuck it and it is how it is, deal with it?
For the beginning. And then maybe once we get the new area of Eureka, then they maybe take a hardcore look at it and see kind of the demographics of what has happened and maybe adjust. But in the beginning, no, just, yeah.
I think if they don't have it balanced properly right from the get-go, I give it less than 2 weeks before that shit gets adjusted. I remember Diadem when, like, it didn't go, like, the spawn rates.
You're optimistic.
Not even optimistic. I just remember Diadem. I remember people saying that they didn't like, or the developers weren't, I guess, happy with the way it was received or the way it was being handled, and they changed it within, like, 2 weeks. That's just what I think. And
again, we're talking about Diadem. Diadem was like a
listen. If they responded in 2 weeks for that piece of shit, they gotta do it for this one. Come on.
You okay there, Haps? You okay? Good, buddy?
I'm just saying, you can't be like, well, it was only Diadem. It was like, but they still did it in less than 2 weeks.
Again, totally different monster. A terrible monster.
There's nothing wrong with me. All right? Nothing.
You sure?
Positive.
You sure?
100% positive. Yes.
You good? Yes. You okay, Coach?
Yeah, I'm fine.
All right. Okay. All right.
So there's Eureka gear and weapons. We've already been over that. While exploring, players may obtain protean crystals, probably from killing enemies. Maybe you can find them from, like, treasure chests or things like that out in the world. Who knows?
Lockbox. Well, no, I don't think they put these in lockboxes.
You need a combination of these plus the notorious monster ones to complete an armor set. They said that the first step would be very simple because Eureka's brand new, which implies that in a future Eureka zone, it will be more than just killing enemies. There will be some other element tied to it. No pun intended.
Please no crystals.
I think this is as close as you're going to get to. This, to me, seems like the equivalent of that.
No. And again, it was such an easy step that a lot of people got to skip it. I didn't, obviously.
I did.
Just fuck that noise.
I got to skip it.
Good for you.
Didn't make me skip the 800 normal mode runs. Anyway, yeah, because they specifically say they're planning on changing the play style with later editions of Eureka. This is the same thing they've been saying about the next Deep Dungeon as well. And I wonder what that entails.
I honestly can't go anywhere with it right now. There's so many places I want to go. There's so many places I want to go.
With Palace of the Dead, it makes more sense because you're on like a floor, and you can create an objective for that floor, and it makes a little bit of sense. With Eureka, it's a little bit harder because it's not this concentrated area of like 4 people.
Right. How many did I say? Like 100 and something per instance?
144 per instance.
Yeah.
It's a lot.
Yeah, I don't know where they could.
So how do you think day 1's going to go with 144 people at Elemental level 1?
In terms of leveling within how far they get?
No, in terms of, hey guys, let's work together, and all the enemies are dead because there's 144 people all trying to fight the same enemies to level up.
Nobody's going to level. You're going to have people like stuck on 1 because like everybody's just murdering things, and people have already gotten to elemental level 3. And
dude, if you can get ahead of the pack and get to like elemental level like 5 or 6 before everyone else, and move up to like a camp with like 8 people, you're gonna be set.
You're sitting pretty.
Oh yeah, that's the big thing. We haven't really talked about that. Elemental level of 20. The maximum apparently is going up in the later zones, kind of like the maximum went up in Palace of the Dead, I suppose. I just expect to disconnect a lot. That's all I know. I just expect a lot of disconnecting. And then, of course, you can search for a party while you're in there and all that stuff. He even showed, hey, don't forget, you can search for a party. Oh, man. So what extreme is it going to be for 4.25 then? Is it going to be, what's his name, Rodney? Yeah, Rodney Extreme? That's the QN NPC.
Yeah.
That sounds awful. Rodney Extreme. Fucking Rodney.
Fucking Rodney. I want that shirt. Fuck Raul. Fuck Sid. I want Rodney Extreme. I want that shirt. I want that guy.
Fucking Rodney. So in terms of rewards, there's a few different things. I'll pull up one of the images right here. They showed re-dyed version of the AF3 gear, which would be the antiquated set that we currently have.
The banana? Do you have
no?
The banana?
I have the blue mage one up.
Okay,
because I thought it would be more controversial than banana mage. Yeah. So in case you threw this stuff out, guys, you can buy it from the Calamity Salvager, and he made sure to remind people of that a lot. And it says specifically, players will receive AF3 weapons with special effects and gear that are dyeable as a reward. We also have gear which we received requests to remove roll restrictions from. So think of gear that's in the game currently that has roll restrictions. And think of non-roll restriction versions of it in Eureka. I don't know. I'm just repeating what they're saying.
What do you think of?
I have no idea. It's one thing to remove like a lot of people ask for like the bunny suit to be available for guys. Like that's a different topic. That's a gender restriction. Roll restriction means like healers being able to wear tank stuff. Like that's what a roll restriction is.
And again, some stuff does look good on other rolls, and some stuff does look interchangeable. Really, there's some armor sets that do look kind of interchangeable between jobs.
Yeah.
Mainly casters,
yeah. Let's see. And then on top of that, they showed off other gear rewards. Again, they talked about this in tandem with talking about Notorious Monsters and the Protean Crystals and stuff like that. And this is the set this is why everyone's calling it Final Fantasy. There's they dropped some Final Fantasy 11 in my Final Fantasy 14. In Final Fantasy 11, the Scorpion Harness, like a mid-50s set that was used well into max level for a lot of new players, and the Strider boots increased movement speed, and I think somewhere somebody noticed an Emperor's hairpin in the other screenshot somewhere, which is another piece. They're all Final Fantasy 11 armors that have basically been remade in Final Fantasy 14. I'm assuming it's glamour and it has no item level functionality. That's my immediate.
No, God no, hell no. Yeah, I've been calling this 11 the entire time. So
the thing is, it's not like at its core, it's not really 11. It's just there's when you do shit like
where the fuck is Nate when I need him?
This is Final Fantasy. This picture is all Final Fantasy 11, right?
Yeah.
Leveling down is very much Final Fantasy 11.
Yep.
But like the core concept of it is not really. It's no different than just killing tons of shit. Like that's just killing tons of shit doesn't make it 11.
It doesn't, but the concepts surrounding it do.
I guess, yeah. Like that's people affiliate it, but still. It's just that this is very clearly Final Fantasy. Like this, you can't dispute this. It's just video. You kill shit in video games. All right, that's it.
Yeah,
I can't think. There's not really much else to go about with that one. I'm just trying to think of if there's anything I missed from the Eureka discussion in particular.
I don't know. Looking at the live letter translation and everything, we pretty much covered everything.
I like the chat saying the one thing about this picture that isn't Final Fantasy 11 is you could not be a male Mithra, which was the name of them. So it betrays the Final Fantasy 11 canon a little bit, but you know what? There's one thing that doesn't betray the Final Fantasy 11 canon at all.
Did you just do the sound again?
Yes, it did.
Like I couldn't hear it because I have stream up, but I
just looked at my face and saw the look on my face.
Yeah. God damn it.
you just saw the look on my face. That's all. That's all there was to it. All right. Listen, it makes a lot more sense when I play that sound to this picture that's on the screen. All right. Oh, that's right. There is.
Why don't you go ahead and play the Play Online theme while you're at it? Please.
I mean, I could find it, definitely. 100%. But I don't have a great thing to... So here's the thing. When you level down in 11 and you couldn't equip the gear anymore, it was also depressing because you'd just be naked. All your level 75 stuff just gets stripped off and you're just naked. I don't have anything for that. So the sad death music, that made sense for sad death music. This doesn't make as much sense for the sad death music. I'm just saying. All right. And besides, we still don't have Bill the Crab. I miss Bill the Crab. All right. But anyway, that pretty much covers the majority of Eureka. Obviously, still some unanswered questions, especially about the future of Eureka afterwards, and a release date. Technically, 4.25, but not a release date. Still betting on March 6th myself.
Yeah, I agree on that one.
I really don't want it to be March 6th, Sly.
Now.
Really don't want it to be.
I know. Had this conversation.
On a scale of 1 to I don't want it,
you just don't want it.
I just don't want it. It's all right. It makes me sad. I feel like combing my beard. But anyway. Not going to, but I'm going to pick up the comb because as soon as we're done with the outro, I am going back to combing my beard. All right. So is there anything else we need to cover, Sly, from this last live letter or anything in particular?
Nope, we pretty much cover everything. Like you said, the Soken stuff you can kind of look up on the notes themselves. Kind of glossed over it. So yeah, covered everything. Good job. High five.
High five. There you go. One thing that I noticed was posted on Reddit that I just want to quickly shout out. So the Shiva statues, obviously the pre-orders for those went around and they're going to be shipping out in the next couple of months here. Apparently one of the shipments was damaged, and Square Enix sent an email to people saying that due to the shipment being damaged, they have to order new ones because they're not going to send them the damaged ones. and that it may be a little while longer before you get your Shiva statue. So if you pre-ordered one, check your email to see if you got that one. See if yours was potentially affected by
4.3 for Shiva statue. 4.3.
Even our statues are getting delayed, man.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. That's all there is to it. Okay, so with that out of the way, I think we can move on to the patron thanks and all that stuff, the usual.
All that jazz.
I'm just, it's a bunch of stuff, man. All right, so we'll do the patron stuff first. So thank you to our supporters over on Patreon to combat #demonetized. I said we get to, every show gets demonetized. All right, I can't keep my sailor mouth shut. And look at his shirt.
Oh yeah, you haven't even seen the complete shirt. I'm sorry. Yeah, let me
look at the bottom right of his shirt. You guys know what that is, right?
Yeah, boy.
That's our show in a nutshell. Or in no pun intended, but there you go.
Oh god, that was good.
Yeah,
I approve that.
You know why you approve of it? Because I didn't do it on purpose. Fucking Mara, dude. So you guys on Patreon get to make sure that shit like that doesn't mean we don't we don't get demonetized, or even if we do get demonetized, it doesn't matter all that. But, so let's do our thank yous. I'm gonna do the Patron of Light last because I have an addition that was made to I guess the shout out for the Patron of Light. Slowly but surely, we're adding things in here, I suppose. So we're gonna start with our standard sponsors. We have let's see, make sure I'm on the right list here. Yeah, okay. Correct list. All right, we have our standard sponsors. We have Kifka and the Grey Eagles on Exodus. We have Dark Graver. We have Kat Ayoshi from Khuja. We have Skia Symphonia from Ragnarok. Rah Xephon from Exodus. Rylanator, Westaur, the Purple Warrior. Eadric Redsteele of Exodus. A lot of Exodus here. Lexxie Valentine, Mantaru and the Rivivus FC from Zodiark. We have Sour Cream and Chives from Jenova. We have Rynoet Chikara. We have Goetia Valefar of Siren. We have Hersh, Fersh of Faerie. Phoenix Down for Company on Goblin. And Serren from Zodiark. We also have our premium sponsors. We have Askin Hawk from Shiva. We have Serenity FC on Ultras, Kat Kazuma. We have Kuryoshi and the Reckless Tea Party FC on Cactar. We have Ignis Fairgun from Diablos, Philestra of Famfrit, Nock Cordis from Excalibur, Krovos Moonscar, Nakaniami of Balmung, Johnio Odin of Tonberry, Private Mikey, Aqua's Sacrifice, Spike, Rudy Rudiger, Nadia and Kurasame, Tin Colossus, Killer Hackman, Raul Jr., Arthur Real Gaming Bishop, and Kiltastic Jones. We also have our Patron of Light, Khuja Cross, who provided us with a stellar 4-person screenshot right here of none other than, oh yeah, you know what? This reminds me. We have Hildebrand at 4.25 to still talk about it. I mean, what's there to talk about?
I totally forgot about it.
This sponsor picture reminded me we also have Hildebrand in 4.25.
Thank you, Patron of Light.
Yes, thank you. You not only do you have this screenshot, but there's also that. And I totally forgot. But yeah, hopefully we'll have Greg and Jimmy. We know we'll have Greg, but hopefully Jimmy rears his ugly face as well.
Is it really ugly?
Better call him Jimmy.
Yeah. You can't call him anything else.
We don't even know if he's there, but we're assuming he's there. I feel like it's a safe assumption to make at this point. You know what I mean? All right. So thank you again to our, I guess I'll try to do the fancy one. Patron of Light. At that point, I might as well just do Patron.
Just...
The Patron of Light. Oh, yes. I was wondering when you'd show up. There you go. That's it. That's what I got.
So that's our show, everyone.
That is our show. He's not wrong, because next is the thing where I say, hey, Sly, why don't you tell everyone where they can find you at? So, Sly, why don't you tell everyone where they can find you at?
You can find me on twitch.tv/Sly, aka Greyfox. You can find me on Instagram at Sly, aka Greyfox07. You can find me on YouTube, youtube.com/The Twitter at Slythefox. And yeah, we got a 3DS capture card, boys. Woo!
I'm so proud of you.
I know. First official stream on Sunday doing PQ. Or if you're not in the loop, Persona Q. So yeah. Haps, where can they?
If you're not a cool guy, you're not cool enough to know.
It's come up. I say PQ all the time. People are like, PQ. Yeah.
Isn't there something called P's and Q's? Isn't that in like Grand Theft Auto or something? Isn't that what they call the snacks you eat? It's like P's and Q's. I feel like that's the name of the snack from Grand Theft Auto. I don't know.
Haps, where can they find you at?
You can find me maybe with less beard sometime this week. Holy shit. But anyway, maybe you can find me if you type Mr. Happy1227 and you go to the YouTubes or the Twitters or the Twitches and those places, and you'll find me. And I've been playing a lot of Monster Hunter lately. I'm HR60 with a shit luck on Hero Streamstones. Let me tell you that much. I got a Lance Hero Streamstone. That's not a hammer. I use a hammer. I love hammers. Stop.
Great sword. Great sword, boys. Great sword. Great sword.
Also, there was something I was going to say, but I forgot what it was. It was just something that I'm going to be doing soon, but I forgot. I know I have the video on Ni no Kuni 2 that I got to put out. So I got to play that for like 4 hours, but there's some other stuff. Oh, I put out my 08 Savage guide finally. The first raids here I finished all the guides for since Final Coil, I think. Because Gordius, I didn't even really make an 04 Savage guide. I made like, hey, I'm just going to talk about this fight because I'm so fucking sick of this goddamn bullshit, annoying ass, just Manepu-chan fight. And then that's it. Everyone called him Manepu-chan.
Meaning?
Manepu-chan.
I don't get it.
Sly, when you say Chen after someone's name, when using, what's the word I'm looking for? I'm looking for a word. Not. I can't think of the word. When you're speaking to somebody in Japan and you use Chan after you say their name, what are you saying about them? Oni-chan. Think about that. Honorific. That's the word I was looking for. It's an honorific.
Honorifics.
Japanese honorific.
Yeah. I couldn't hear the first. I couldn't hear the first part. Manepu-chan.
There you go.
Yeah, I couldn't hear the first part. It was like, what? What Chan?
It's all right. I think this is the first time I've had more of a weeb moment than Sly has.
Yeah, that's a first. The fuck? It's the end of the world, folks. Let's go. Where's Ephes to call you a fucking weeb and tell you to get a job?
I don't know. In Australia, I'd imagine.
Fucking weeb.
Potentially. I love that it's an audio clip on his stream. I love it. It's great. All right, but anyway, that's gonna be a wrap for the show. Next week, speaking about this, is not only next week's not only spoiler casts, Sly. It's something else. Sly, what show is this week? What show number?
This is 155.
So what's next week?
156.
If you divide that by 52,
it's 3 years. Happy 3 years, everyone.
Yeah.
Happy 3 years. 3 years anniversary.
Honestly, I forgot till I put the number at the top of the show. I'm not gonna lie, I don't have anything planned for 3 years. We got to talk about the show.
It's not our 3-year anniversary, like right on the mark, is it? No, it can't be.
I like the chat. He has a dick on his shirt. He's definitely out weebing you. That's it.
You're not wrong. You're not wrong.
So, okay, how about that? Yeah. So, well, next week, for 3 years, we have 3 beards. That much we know for certain, because we have me, you, and Ephes. He's got at least enough facial hair to qualify. I think we need 3 beers as well. For him, it'll be like 9 in the morning. I don't think it's going to fly. But for me, not 3 beers just for you alone, Sly. Don't.
I'm just getting a beer. All your tits.
Are you getting 3?
Jesus Christ. No. I definitely have enough to qualify. Jesus.
I definitely have enough to cover all 3 beers, but
yeah,
I'm just getting 1.
Yeah.
All right. Well, Sly, you pour that beer with no foam. I hope. Master pourer. Oh yeah, no head at all there. Look at that.
No head. Yeah.
No head at all.
You know who you're talking to?
The expert.
Fuck.
All right. But with that note, I think we can move on over into post-show. And then I got a raid in like an hour and a half. So that's like a little
half an hour.
Half an hour.
Yeah.
So I'll have a short post-show, ladies and gentlemen. And next week will be spoiler cast. Not Aerzivia. Next week is just spoiler cast. A week after that will be Aerzivia. We'll do Aerzivia right the next week. And the week after that, we might need to delay the show because that would be the day of Eureka. We might want to do like a couple of days before we do a thoughts show on Eureka. But it'll be on Tuesday for the next few weeks, at the very least. We're just gonna take liberties in moving shows when it makes sense a little bit more now.
Yeah.
Okay. As long as that's okay with you, Sly. You are also a co-host here. You get to make decisions sometimes.
Sometimes.
When I let you.
Thank you. Feel special.
I ask for your opinion sometimes.
Sometimes.
That's fine.
When it matters. Yeah.
Yeah, a little bit. So that'll be the plan for the next 3 weeks worth of shows. So let's move on over to post show. Thank you again to our patrons, and ladies and gentlemen, we will see you next week. Until then, bye-bye.
See you next week.